Trump versus the Pope, Not Much to Choose From, by Ronald A. Lindsay. From Free Inquiry's online column Unprayerful Reflections at secularhumanism.org. The tiff between President Donald Trump and Pope Leo was a major news story this past week, besides being grist for the mill of late-night comedy. The story even acquired some legs when Trump's chief toady, J.D. Vance, felt obliged to rebuke Leo for faulty theology. Most liberal or lefty commentators reveled in what appeared to be a self-inflicted wound by Trump. The New York Times did more than one story on how Trump's criticism of the Pope appeared to cause divisions among his supporters. A common thread in all these commentaries was how the Pope, with his calls for peace, stands for what is good and just, in contrast to the amoral narcissism and belligerence of King Donald. Trump is a horrible person on many levels, including in terms of his policies and his character. But Pope Leo, well, I can't say anything definitive about his character. I don't know enough about his history to form a considered judgment, and probably never will know enough, because one thing the Vatican is good at is polishing the image of the pontiffs. However, many of the Church's policies, although they have different focus, are as objectionable and lacking in rational justification as those of the Trump administration. I'm not talking about Leo's praising peace. Who isn't in favor of peace? I mean, besides Pete, give me more war, Hegseth. The Catholic Church still adamantly maintains that using birth control is a sin. Abortion is equivalent to murder. Gays are seriously disordered. Same-sex marriage is anathema, and women are in some ways inferior to men, as indicated by their lack of qualification for the priesthood. The Church lobbies vigorously against legalization of physician-assisted dying, denying individuals the ability to limit their suffering and die peacefully. It still requires its priests to be celibate, ensuring they cannot experience normal human sexual expression, with consequences nowadays all too familiar. And let's not lose sight of the Church's raison d'etre, which is to persuade people that they are doomed to eternal torment unless they accept a bizarre mythology, which holds in part that some itinerant Jew 2,000 years ago was the Son of God, but also himself God, who killed himself so he could forgive humans for something some human ancestor did. Support Trump or support the Pope? Let's see. An impulsive, ignorant narcissist whose policies are harming America versus an advocate for a medieval worldview whose dissemination of absurdities spans the globe. How about neither? Thank you for listening to this audio edition of Free Inquiry, the journal for secular humanist ideas. If you enjoyed this article, consider subscribing to Free Inquiry magazine to explore more thought-provoking content on reason, ethics, science, and free thought. You can find more articles, subscribe, or support our work at secularhumanism.org. There you'll also discover resources on secular humanism, information on upcoming events, and ways to connect with a community of like-minded thinkers. If you believe in the importance of reason, free expression, and humanist values, consider making a donation to support our work. Every contribution helps us continue to publish, advocate, and provide resources for a more rational, secular world. Once again, thanks for listening and for supporting free inquiry, free minds, and free expression.